kicking up dust on a rick house floor. Charred oak whispers we can't ignore. Stories in the mash, fire in the grain. Raise up your glass, feel that bourbon flame. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the backwoods stills to tonight's big show. Every drop a story, every sip that's drowned. We're bourbon legends, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. From Kentucky hills to the neon lights, we're talking small batch days and whiskey nights. Tasting the past in every pour, gonna carve our names on the distiller's door. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the backwoods stills to tonight's big show. Every drop a story, every sip that's drowned. We're bourbon legends, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. Raise 'em high, feel the fire. Clinking glasses, lifting higher. One more toast to the ones before and the legends we're making forevermore. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the rick house walls to your front row. Every drop a story, every sip a crown. We're bourbon legends, come gather round. Come gather round. Come gather round.
Hey, everybody. Nothing like live TV, I tell you. I do not have a clue what happened. I just all of a sudden saw nothing, just a big black screen. But we're here now. It's Thursday night, my Friday night, because I don't have to go to work tomorrow because I'm going to Lynchburg, Tennessee. All right, folks, we're going to bring in another legend here. You know him, you love him, or you may hate him. I don't know. Roger Randall. What's up, Roger Randall?
How you doing, Craig?
I was doing real good till about 3 minutes ago when everything went blank and I started freaking out.
You know, the idea is we got to stay calm, 1,000 points of light, to remain calm and stay within our own selves, and we'll be able to hit the live button and go live. And then the people are going to be graced with our presence. That's what you got to think.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, hey, I'm just glad they can see us, right?
Yeah, I hope they can, but I can't
Yeah,
get
they
onto
can.
YouTube to find out. So if you're out there and you can see us, make sure you comment and say you can see us.
I think they can. I've seen several comments now. Like I said,
Okay,
I
good.
have no clue what happened. But you know
Well,
what? It wouldn't be live YouTube TV if it didn't happen. So
no, and the fact that we're able to get it now, we can just move on. We can
yeah,
move
we're
on.
just gonna act like nothing ever happened.
What happened? I didn't hear nothing.
I
We got
don't know.
nothing.
I don't know what you're even talking about. But anyway, it's good to be here. Mr. Mike Brock there, the backdoor man, just sent me a text and he says, "It's good. Just roll with the flow, baby." So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just jump right in here. You know, it's the dog days of summer, August. Not a whole lot going on. A lot of distilleries closed down for cleanup and vacation time and whatnot. And there is a little bit of news out there. So
Yeah.
I'm going to run this out here, and we are going to talk about a new product. It's an old product, but it's a new product coming out, and it is Jim Beam. Look here, and I already lost Roger again. There he is.
I'm
Jim
back.
Beam Lineage. This is the second go around for Jim Beam Lineage. Boy, if you guys can read that, your eyes are much better than mine, because
I can read it, and I
I'm
like
playing
it.
this on a small screen here, you know.
I'll be honest with you. I did not know where the Booker No plant was until we went down to Bardstown this last time, and
Really?
we drove by the road that was on the road to Booker No plant. And knowing that this is something that comes out of that facility, you have a bottle of it. We did open it,
I do.
and we had a little drink of it, and now I want it. I know it's a little pricey, but hey, everything in this world is pricey.
Yeah, I know, right? Well,
Yeah,
somewhere on this here, I've got a price. Let me get to it right here. MSRP is $250.
250.
$250. I've paid more for bourbon, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So
you go to the distillery, you pick up you ask them for something really really special, and they produce it, put it in a nice wood box. There you go. And
there you
again,
go.
it's not a bad ABB, a baby ABB. I can't even say that. And Chat GGB, but it's got, hey, it's got creamy toffee, vanilla, and seasoned oak. What else can you want?
And those old no boys know what they're doing. No pun intended. I mean,
Oh, them boys know what they know. Freddie knows.
Fred knows, and Freddie. Well, Freddie is just an ambassador. I guess he dabbles in it a lot. He's not a distiller or master distiller as of yet, but I'm sure that's going to be coming pretty soon, sooner than later, I would think.
Yeah, I think he's blending and things like that. You got to lead your way up to it.
Well, you got to work your way up. You just can't hop right into the top position unless you own the place. Then you can be the chief bourbon officer or whatever you want to call it.
El Rey del Bourbon.
That's right. I want to see what everybody's out here doing. Fred knows. That's what Poor Decision says. Fred knows. Uncle Bubba's in the house. Silly Yorkie's in the house. Jared Kersey's in the house. Chris Jenkins is in the house. Mike Bortner's in the house. Hey, glad to have all you guys on a Thursday evening with us. We're going to move right along, and we are going to talk about the next piece of news that's coming out. And this one is one that's really Roger is going to be searching for. He's already got FOMO on this one, but it is. And there, Roger is not there again. He was supposed to be there with me. There he is. This one is the Bardstown Discovery 13 that's coming out. What do you know about that one, Raj?
Well, it stays in the pattern of what they've done over the last couple of years with the 11 and 12, with making it all Kentucky distillant bourbon that's within the blend. This includes 2 8-year, 2 distinct nines, and a 15-year. The 15 years a lot smaller percentage than it once was with the 11 and the 12, which had some age bourbon in it. But again, the key with what Bardstown's done with it now is they've added the fact that they're going to double oak it in Hungarian and American oak barrels, which me dabbling in the wine thing,
I have a question. I have to
yes,
interrupt you for a minute. What the hell is Hungarian barrels? I mean, it's they made in Hungary or what?
yep, it's oak that is procured from the country of Hungary. With the end of the Cold War and all those fun things, that became available, and it is a very sought after wood, and it always has been. The French winemakers were used to use it, and then stopped using it when the end of the cold, after World War II, they stopped using it. But a little bit different pattern to it, grain. It gives a little different affinity to the bourbon when it's aged in it. You got a lot of the cooperages that'll blend American oak, French oak, and Hungarian oak in a barrel once, each and other, every other stave.
Well, when we were at in Bardstown at Bardstown Bourbon Company, remember they had that in the showroom there, not the showroom, but in the Rick House. and it was talking about those different barrels, staves. And remember, it wasn't that good.
No, but it will get better. It will get better.
Well,
I
I
can
hope
tell
so.
you.
I hope
I
so. I
it's
mean,
it's one of those things that after it gets out of the barrel and they do the blending with it and all those type things, I think it will get better.
well,
But
for the MSRP, which is probably going to be hard to find for the MSRP, I hope that it's better than what we had tasted there. Although I know it wasn't the same distillate, it wasn't the same product, but
no,
you
no.
know,
Well, I know that I've went out and recently and bought procured a batch 11 that's still available locally. Maybe paid a little more than what I should normally would, but knowing I'll never see it again. But it's 139, supposedly going to be available at the distillery first, and then they're going to make it available through the network and through the distributors. Oh, we might know somebody that's a distributor. I don't know.
that might be a good
And
question to ask.
yeah, but it's he probably one of those things you might not know at this point until they decide what they're going to do. But we'll discuss it later when we have our little commercial later. We might have a little information about that too. Just so keep watching the show to get all of the information.
That's right. Always watch to the end of the show because you also never know what we're gonna put out there.
Yeah.
And finally, in the world of bourbon news, and this is the one I really want to ask Anthony about, and I'm going to have to pull Roger. I'm going to have to pull you in again for some reason,
Well, he
but
just doesn't want to
it's
keep.
wild turkey. Wild turkey is near and dear to our hearts. We like wild turkey. We often talk about it, and their sales report came out, and it says that they have a slump of 8%, despite the new releases like the Russells and whatnot. Uh, and here you can read what I just put on here about David, not David E, but just David Campari, which owns Lawrenceburg from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Also, as well as Danville's Wilderness Trail. Sorry, I need my glasses. I can't read this.
No.
Said the sales were flat for the first 6 months of this year. Now, Roger, here's my question, and I'm going to pose this question. I know Anthony's in the background waiting. It's going to be his first official question before he even gets on. Is this a sign of hard times, or is just to be expected as Wild Turkey comes off of near record-breaking sales in the past? What's your opinion on that, Roger?
Well, again, being the layman and knowing a little bit about the side on this, people go, it's everything cycles up and down with the spirits world. It gets to summer months, people are drinking more tequila, they're drinking more vodka, they're out on a boat, they got something that's an RTD or ready to drink. They're not going to drink bourbon on the boat as much. But I still think, well, Wild Turkey over the last few years, before all this got going, they had record sales. I mean, up to 300% sometimes. So I'm not worried about them as much as I think it's just a, pattern of what's going on. But the
Right?
key is going to be how the company reacts to it and how the consumers react and how long this lasts. If this is a trend that lasts just for the year. But again, I think there's a lot of those folks that were out there that were, as we always say, they weren't buying the bourbon to drink it, they were buying it to collect it. If you're doing that, you know,
I do both. I
I do
collect it,
both.
and then I drink it.
I like to drink it more than I like to collect it. So,
Well, I tell you what, let's do this. Let's ask somebody who has a lot more know than what we do.
well, yeah, he's
A
there
little
every
more
day.
has a little more information. We're going to bring to the stage here my friend. I've known this dude for a long time. He's a good guy. He's vice president of sales at our local distribution in Little Rock, out of Little Rock Central and Moon. Let's bring to the stage Anthony Eckert. Hey, Anthony, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? How are y'all tonight?
Not much.
Good,
So,
good.
unofficially, your first question. You heard us talking about wild turkey sales. What do you think's going on?
Well, I don't know that I'm telling any big secrets for those of you guys that really keep up with the industry as a whole, not necessarily as it pertains just to bourbon, but the whole, this is nationally. I'm not necessarily speaking to Arkansas, but if you read some of the trade publications, there's a lot of I'll say industry insider emails and stuff like that that go out that are very accessible to the general public, but the state of the whole business as a nation is not in a good place right now. And to Roger's point, it is a little bit because of the big boom from the pandemic, but we've been out of that, I'll say, really peak of the alcohol business for close to 3 years now. So it's cycled over itself a couple times, and it's still kind of not in a great position. And to be fair, bourbon kind of had its hoorah back then in 22, 23. And one of the things right now is it's just not as sexy as it used to be to a lot of the general consumers. Now, to a crowd like you guys, probably not a lot's changed, but you're talking about the whole business in itself. One, bourbon's not super flashy anymore. It still is going to be one of the biggest categories in the business, but compared to what it was a couple years ago, it's a little bit of a shell of itself, I'll say. But the overall alcohol business in itself is nationally kind of hurting a little bit. And if you read the publications, the feds came out about, I don't know, 6 months ago and talked about how alcohol's a main cause for cancer. That sure as hell didn't help. You've got a lot of weight loss drugs going around the country right now that prevent people from not only eating but having much of a digestive taste for bourbon and spirits. You've also got a very big health trend going on now across the country with people wanting to drink organic and be healthier more so than ever. So, a long rambling way to answer your question is anytime you see that sales are down right now, it shouldn't be a surprise.
So let me ask you this, and I mean, I know this was brought up in past conversations with our group. If sales are down, is that going to hurt? Is that going to help us as a consumer base of finding products at a better cost? In other words, are we going to be able to go out and find Russell's 13 for a better cost, or are those things going to still be like an allocated item that's going to be tough to find?
Well, speaking in generality, not necessarily to Russell's 13 or some of the super allocated stuff, but just speaking in generality about bourbon, keep in mind it's 2025, and a lot of these big distilleries in 2020 and 2021, when business was booming, they kind of came to a crossroads and had to look in the mirror and say, hey, are we going to lay down the bourbon that's needed in 5 years based on what we're doing today? And I would say 90% of them said yes. So you're looking at a lot of companies right now that have a ton of juice laid down, and it's coming of age. And although I can't speak to specifics on if we're getting decreases, I know it's got to be coming just for the sheer fact of there's going to be a mass surplus. And just like any business, whether it's clothes or corn or anything, when you have a surplus, prices are going to be cheaper. Now, with that being said, cogs, glass, corks, labels, labor in your warehouses, the boxes that you do use to produce and package all the bourbon up, all that stuff is through the roof. So there's a little bit there to offset the costs. But right now there's more, I would say, more juice laid down than there's ever been at a lot of these distilleries. So I would expect more stuff to become available. Maybe not the real unicorn stuff, just because I think these companies are smart enough to kind of keep that the way it is, but you might see some new expressions, some new LTOs, limited stuff that you might get your hands on that normally wouldn't have happened a few years ago. But it's just simple economics right now based on what happened. And once again, if you pay attention to it, it's I'm not really telling anybody anything you can't find out or know just based on what's happened in our industry for the last 5 years.
Right. I mean, everything has an ebb and a flow to it. I'm sure you've heard stories when Pappy used to sit on a shelf and they couldn't give it away, and then all of a sudden, the boom hits and you can't find it, and if you did, it's $100 a year, and it may go back down to that. I mean, everything cycles, so.
Yeah, and speaking of cyclical, I still consider myself a rookie. I've been in the business close to 20 years, and I've seen a lot of big booms in my short tenure. One of the first ones I saw was craft beer, and how the bourbon groups are now are what craft beer was originally, and lived through that for 3 or 4 years, saw that, and then here comes the bourbon, and now we're not seeing it as much of a group per se, but the biggest hottest trend right now in the industry is tequila, and it's, I would say, almost, to me, bigger than the bourbon boom was, just because there's excess of it. It started with excess in Mexico. There's a lot of very craft niche brands that are coming in and really making a lot of waves in the tequila business and that side of our alcohol sales, and you know that's obviously playing a big part in the bourbon world too, really against every category. And then
Hmm.
you have the other big piece of our business right now is RTDs, or ready to drinks, with High Noon and spirit based seltzers. So bourbon's getting shot at by those two things basically. And it's all healthy for the business. You don't want really one category to be the king at all times. um, it does help for things like you are talking about. If bourbon's the king all the time, it's like it's getting hyper stressed from a sales standpoint. So you're not really able to be creative and do new stuff with it. You're just trying to pump out what you've always done. Whereas, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these distilleries are going to be able to make some new cool expressions that we've never heard of or seen because they've got extra juice laid down. So I think it's still exciting time to be in be a bourbon follower and to see what that looks like in the next 2 or 3 years. But we're in a way different space than we were 2022, 2023 with bourbon.
Perfect.
Speaking of
Speaking
bourbon,
of bourbon,
yeah, let's have a pour. I mean, surely you have something over there, Anthony.
I do. We didn't plan this at all. We just so happened to have these two same bottles
Two
together.
little
So
birdies. What is your
this
what
is
is your proof on yours?
mine is 130.9.
130.9. Okay, mine is 130.9 as well.
I imagine it's probably the same
Same barrel problem. What
barrel. 3023.
3023. You didn't happen to leave this out when Santa Claus came under your tree or something,
No,
did you?
no, because I didn't sell it when Santa Claus came. I just took this one over February 1st.
Well,
So,
let's
but cheers.
let's have a
cheers.
pour.
Yeah, I've liked what they've done because the front labels kind of tell you what the bourbon is that's inside. If it has a
Yeah.
bird on the front, it's a weeded bourbon, and landscape scenes is a different one, and so it's kind of a neat thing. We've got one of our legends out here, Leighton, who does Leighton's Liquor Library. If somebody can put his thing in the thing, he's a big Rare Perfection fan, and he collects every different variation bottle and hunts them up all across the whole country. So it's another unique brand that came out that allows people to find something different.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony, we have a local guy out of Hot Springs. He's friends with Sam as well. Uh, and Chill Will Rocco, he's a mid-level celebrity. You probably have heard of him, but he wants to know what brands and bottles can we expect to see in Arkansas this coming year that we haven't seen before. Can you dive into that a little?
Um, I'm a big believer in not saying anything until that truck backs up to our warehouse and it gets here, because I can't tell you how many times we've thought something was coming, and it never got here. But I think you will see a lot of really cool stuff. I'll say towards October, November as the holidays hit. Just speaking to what I was talking about earlier, I think there's an excess of stuff right now where you're going to see some cool stuff that didn't either expect, or that these distilleries are looking at their inventory and going, what can we do with this? So outside of the normal fall releases that all the distilleries let go of their allocations with, I don't want to really say anything for sure because
That's cool.
I look like a
No, that's
liar.
fair.
But I always tell people when you hear the truck beeping and it's backing up, that's when I'll tell you about it.
I do have a question about that. So I was up in Morrilton today, and I saw your truck at Petty Jean Liquor. When that, let's just say there's a bottle of you sell Old Fitz, right?
Yep.
Let's just say there's 3 bottles of Old Fitz 7-year on that truck. Are you guys the ones that are pricing that, and like when it's delivered, it's already in their system, or do they have, like, what's the timeline between you dropping it off and it hitting the shelves, if it's going to hit the shelves? Is it like day
That
of, or is that up to
that's really based on the store. I mean,
the, okay?
Arkansas, once again, no secret, we're a COD state, meaning you have to pay for it when we get there, and after it's off the truck, it's up to the store. As soon as they check it in, sometimes it goes straight to the shelf. Sometimes they stage it in their back rooms, and
Hmm.
none of it's, I don't think any of it's done to mess with the consumer. It's just their processes and how they do things. I mean, of course, a lot of the high-end stuff or the stuff that's expensive, for obvious reasons, goes either behind the counter or
Right.
in the office or something. But no, it's their property when we back it off the truck and they pay for it. So what they do with it after that, it's really up to them.
I know. One time I was in Dallas and we were hunting, and they're like, if the truck's there, it's going to be out. So like dumb me, I'm sitting there an hour before the truck gets there, and then the truck never shows up. So I was
Yeah.
just always curious, like how that worked. But all
They
right,
got
can
to
we
get
get
in their
into some real
POS system.
questions? I'm sorry, Roger. Go ahead.
Well, the main thing is that the store's got to get it in their POS system. And if it's not in there, they can't check it in. They can't do all those different things. And I know if it's just speaking at it from the
Hold
being
on.
in the
What is a
retail side,
POS? I know what a POS is. I don't think it's the same thing we're talking about.
point of sale system.
Oh, okay. I was thinking a
So
piece of.
it's how stores will keep everything in their inventory under their control. When I worked in the store in St. Louis, if it was already in the system before, it was a very easy thing to do. When you check the bottles in, they were already in the system. When you hit the SKU, you'd said we got in 4 quantity, boom, and you had it available to sell. But if it's something brand new that they never had before, they've got to add it to that system in order to put it in there, and that's where it takes a little more time.
Okay.
And again, I know Anthony knows the thing that one of the questions that I just got sent to me was, you know, the contention we always run into in Arkansas is because we are a smaller market. There's 3 to 4 million people in the state as opposed to being some places where they have 3 million in one city. And that kind of the distilleries in the past have used that as a point of not distributing to a state as quickly or those type things. Are you starting maybe to see those trends kind of go away a little bit, maybe?
Well, it's once again, it's basic economics. I mean, you go to a really nice big car lot, they're going to have 40 different options for you to choose from. And you go to a small car lot, they're going to have 4. Arkansas is a small car lot. Nothing's really changing as far as that goes. My close friends, I always tell them, if you want more allocated stuff, drink the stuff they sell normally, because that's the what keeps the lights on for a lot of these companies is drinking the stuff that's their everyday SKUs that they make the highest profit on.
Yep.
Um, but nobody can really solve the whole Arkansas thing. I've talked to Craig about it before, but it's a gray area. You get some suppliers that love Arkansas, just because there's no secret. Everybody that's probably on this live, or if you live in Arkansas, it's absolutely a phenomenal state to live in. The people are great. All of our retailers are awesome. So when suppliers come here and hang out and see how the state is, a lot of them want to help us out, but at the same time, you know, hands are tied, or you just start thinking about the population. I mean, there's more people in Dallas and Memphis proper that can do as much volume as what we do in the state of Arkansas. So I don't think anybody is ever picking on us. We're just a byproduct of our state, and we have. If there was ever a way to mathematically do a, you know, per capita based on volume on some of the higher end stuff that we get, I think it would be a lot more fair than a lot of people think, just based on what's out there and how much stuff goes into big markets.
Well,
Um,
I know you've looked at the maps before of the dry counties. I mean, you were raised in a dry county. It's still a dry county.
yeah,
A majority of Arkansas is dry,
that's correct.
so that sure doesn't help, I'm sure.
But I mean, we Arkansas has been the beneficiary of some pretty cool stuff over the years that I don't think, you know, I don't think that we necessarily wouldn't have gotten if it wouldn't have been for a lot of cool groups like you guys and some other groups that have really lobbied for it, I'll say. So Arkansas has been the beneficiary of some cool stuff. Would we like to have more? Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'd always, but I mean, the reality is we live in Arkansas. There's 3.4 million people, and it's a byproduct of our population, and that won't really ever change. I don't think. I do think going back to what we talked about earlier, more availability, more juice laid down has to translate into more things being available to just the masses, not necessarily in Arkansas. So I would think there would just be some organic business flow our way based on that, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think we've got some really good, strong businesses coming to the state. Some trends. Maybe there'll be some more folks moving into the state. Both on both sides of the economic scale, your blue collar and your white collar, employees. You got a new steel mill coming into the northeast corner of the state. You've got possible new plants down in the southwest. It will help. Those things will help, but I think, like you've said, is we can't amazingly make it go to 6-8 million people real quick. It doesn't
Right.
happen that way.
And if
If
it is,
everybody, if I'll tell you one way to fix it, if everybody starts drinking double and Arkansas drinks like we're 6 million people, that'll help overnight. So everybody go to
There
your
we go. We
stores,
can do that.
just buy
Heard it, boys
double.
and
well,
girls.
there's a lot of us on here that are from Arkansas, and we try to keep that pace up, but that's hard to do.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
tough.
Anthony, I got a good question that's kind of it's a little bit out there, but what is one of the common myths about the liquor business that just absolutely drives you crazy when you hear people talking about it?
Oh man.
I always try to
I
stump
can't
somebody. I'm trying to stump
give me one that you think give me one that you think I would or that you think you don't know about maybe. I don't know.
Oh
Um
man, I'd hate to put you on the spot. I don't know of any, honestly.
I
We,
mean,
we
it's a
let's
great it's a very fun business. Man, a myth?
I mean, like, say for instance something like uh I don't know. I don't know. I don't let's, let's
The
move
only thing
on. Let's move on.
I always say that a lot, and Roger kind of touched on it earlier. It's a hard business, it's a fun business, but people quit drinking whiskey in the summer, but guess what? Last summer they quit drinking whiskey too. So we're always trying to beat what we did last season. And Christmas time, people are drinking a lot more. Well, last Christmas they drank a lot more too. Um,
Hey, I might have
it's
been
like,
witness to that. I
yeah,
always like to go into places and I say, "Wow, the holiday spirits are really flowing here tonight."
yeah.
Poor Decisions Pairings out of Memphis has a question, and I don't think he's asking you specifically for Arkansas, but as a generality, how is it determined what stores get what kind of allocations? Is it based on sales that they do, or how
I
does
mean,
that
it's
typically
it's
go?
it's once again, I'm just speaking in generality, I guess, versus like what across the country, like when I just talked about us as a state. I mean, if a regional company that has 5 states looks at their total business, Arkansas is going to get Arkansas is going to get the percent of business they do with that brand or that company, and that's pretty much a trickle down effect for all the way down to the consumer. For you guys that shop in your stores, you probably know that if you go in there just for a bottle of nice bourbon, sometimes the store owners will be like, "Well, I've never seen you before," So it's a trickle down effect. There's no certain mathematical equation for it other than the fact that it's in generality, when a company does business with 4 or 5 markets, they're going to give each market what they feel like they deserve based on how much business they do. And that's the trickle down effect that goes all the way down to the consumer. So it's pretty much like that across the country.
I'm going to ask you one that Will had again, and I think I know the answer to this one, but he wants to know, is there any chance of getting Matt Crittenden to be distributed here in Arkansas?
You'll have to ask Matt that.
I
Yeah.
think we're gonna have to put some pressure on Matt. I think that's just we're gonna go down in Moss as the bourbon legends and invade his distillery, talk with him, and but again, I know where he's coming from, because just like all the costs that go into shipping and the boxes and the glasses, if he's only got so much and he's got a market that wants it, he's already got them established. It's easier to do it in an established market than it is to open up a new market.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak. I don't want to put words in his mouth because I don't really know the brand other than Craig sending it to me. But this is just in general speaking for a brand. If he's happy with what he's doing in a couple states or whatever one state he's in, he might be in 10 states. I don't know, but we always caution people, even brands that we really want to get in Arkansas. We always caution them, if you can't come here and support and really get to know the market, then we'll just wait until you are ready, because it's sometimes a recipe for disaster if they're not ready to move into another market or they're not ready to um, support a new state. So a lot of times when we talk to people and either don't hear back or they don't want to come to Arkansas, that's why. And we don't want them to come to Arkansas. Don't pressure any distilleries to come to Arkansas if they don't feel like they can support it, because that's such a vital piece of our business, is making sure the actual distillery, it's just like, it's a relationship business. They need to come meet guys like y'all, the customers, retailers, on-premise restaurants, and that sort of thing in order for a brand to be successful. So that might be what I'm not speaking for him saying that's what's going on with him, but a lot of times when we don't get feedback from people, it's because they just either don't have the bandwidth to do it or they're happy with where they're at. And a lot of times that's a really good thing, to be more smart about your expansions.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think one of the things we're lucky in Little Rock is we've got a lot of really good restaurants in town that have,
Arkansas, I get to go travel all over the country for work, and Arkansas is a super sleeper state for restaurants. We've got some amazing restaurateurs in the state, Northwest Arkansas, Central Arkansas, some outer lying areas. There's some really good restaurants, and there's some really, really good concepts, cocktail bars, and stuff like that that you really don't see in even bigger markets. So we're lucky to have them.
yeah, even in the moist counties, as we call it, the ones that are not that are dry counties, but they're moist because they allow the bars and restaurants to
Yeah, I
produce it.
grew up
I
in one
think,
of those.
yeah. O'Malley's here in Conway, they've got a
yeah,
heck of a bourbon bar for being in a dry county,
Yeah.
yeah,
and
and they're really nice people. They're easy to work with. That's what makes it nice around Arkansas, is we've got a lot of good. We've got some good craft distilleries or craft breweries that are still doing really strong and have a good restaurant, and they sell beer, plus they have a restaurant and all that around the town and around in the state. We got Rocktown in Little Rock,
Yeah.
which, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the people I know in town know it because of the bar more than the bourbon and the other stuff they sell, because of the fact that the bar has got a good reputation as far as always being cutting edge and kind of doing some crazy things with their drinks. So it's a good thing to have. And I know up in Northeast or the Northwest, Fayetteville and all that area, it's just growing and growing, and lots of really good restaurants up that way.
Yeah.
I was up hunting in Northwest Arkansas about a year ago, and I was surprised to see that they actually had liquor stores that were open on Sundays. And I honestly thought that was like one of those blue laws, Arkansas you couldn't do. But then they said, it's really up to the county. And I see where there's a
It's
push.
actually at the city level now.
Oh, is it at the city level?
Mhm.
I saw
Yeah.
where Maumelle is, and you live in Maumelle, that they're trying to push that agenda to get sales on Sunday. And I'm sure you're 100% for it, I would think.
Well, I'm gonna probably embarrass myself a little bit here, but I had no clue Maumelle was doing it.
Well, I
The
read the
the
little
thing,
news clip that they were trying to get that, put on a ballot or whatever, because they're like, people come to town and they want to be able, if they're spending the night, at a baseball tournament or whatever, and
mhm,
Sunday they're surprised that they go to the liquor store,
stores,
not just for, alcohol in general. You can't go to the convenience store and buy a 6-pack of Bud Light,
yeah.
So
I mean, the only thing what'll happen is like it happened up in Northwest Arkansas. If anybody in a county gets it to go on Sunday, the other cities are forced. Um, if Maumelle were to get it, North Little Rock would want it, Little Rock would want it because they're losing out on tax revenue on Sundays and business. So
right.
I'm
Unless you live in
sure it's a year or
Conway.
two away, but yeah, I don't know.
If you live
Who
in
knows about
Conway,
Conway?
you're never going to get it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some kind of barrier around there. I don't know what's going
I've
on.
heard a lot of rumors, but we're not going to delve into those tonight because I know time is running. We're running over, and you probably have things you want to do. So
I'm good. Y'all keep
I want
asking
to ask you one.
questions.
I want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
You're stranded on an island. I know you like going to the beach. You're stranded on an island. There's only one bourbon
Mm.
that you can have for the rest of your life as long as you're on that island. What is Anthony Eckert going to be drinking?
Well, if you want my God's honest opinion, I wouldn't be drinking bourbon because if that beach is rolling and the waves are coming in, I'm probably getting a cooler full of beer. But if it has to be a bourbon, um, man, I think it would have to be Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered. That's been my that's been my I've Aaron and I, who own Smoke Wagon, are good friends, and that was a brand that I was able to bring into the state um,
And and and
4 years ago now. So it's near and dear to my heart because it's
you,
very phenomenal juice, but it's also probably one of the coolest brands to ever come into the market, any market for that matter. And I love it. So that would
you
probably be my
you
my
need to
brand.
get Aaron back, and we need to do one of those dinners like we did last year.
Yeah,
That was fun.
He's I'm sure he'd be down to come soon. He was here, I guess, a couple years ago, but no, that would have to be it. I love its high rye, high octane, and just the complexity in it is
Have you
always
had
something that. Go ahead.
Have you had any of the juice that they produced at their facility out in Las Vegas yet?
They can't
That
produce whiskey there.
Well, they're doing something, and they had one that I guess it's not all MGP. It's something that they had distilled in the mash bill he liked somewhere,
Yeah.
and is bringing it in. And I don't know if
Well, they age everything there, and he can age it there in his barrels, but there's some kind of local law there that does not allow them to be a distillery.
Huh.
yeah, yeah, there was
One
some
more
bourbon that he
Distill bourbon anyway,
one more.
yeah.
I
unless
mean,
something's changed, but I'm
you can
pretty
go out
sure it
there and
hasn't.
get a hooker. You just can't make booze.
I wouldn't know.
No, I
You
don't.
wouldn't
I
know.
know. Last time you were in Vegas, you were at was the Super Bowl in Vegas this past Super Bowl?
That
I
was
thought.
no, it was in 24.
Well, you got to go to the Super Bowl though this year. I
Yeah,
was
that was pretty
jealous of you.
awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what. His family, Roger, was on a winning streak. His dad won something at a local venue, and then Anthony won tickets to the Super Bowl. Then was it your son won something or?
Yeah, he won a book at the school at school. That was actually on my time hop today. So this was all 2 years ago. It happened. Yeah, it was
Huh.
a good. My dad won tires at the bazaar. I think a new set of tires at the bazaar. My son won a book, and I won Super Bowl
Yeah,
tickets all on the same
all
day.
within just like yeah.
Yeah.
All right, one more question, Anthony. We're gonna let you go.
Okay.
This one's from Poor Decisions again. He wants to know: is there a bourbon that you consider a sleeper that most people will pass on?
Yes. This is really gonna be controversial because I know the hate that's out there for George Dickel. I don't know why. I think
Oh,
I know there's hate. I know there's such hate out there for George Dickel, and I get it being the charcoal filtration and all that stuff. But George Dickel 8-year bourbon, have that if you haven't yet, and it's
hmm.
$25, $29. Um, it's in my opinion, it's phenomenal. And just to be 100% transparent, everybody's taste profile is different. People might hate it just like they hate all the other George Dickel. I don't know. But that's
Well,
one bottle that I feel like is a sleeper that
I
nobody picks up because it's got George Dickel on the label. And there are George Dickel expressions I don't care for, but this one is really good.
we've got a real good friend, and he goes by the name of Dickle Pickle. And
Yeah.
I think Daniel owns every expression that they've ever put out, and he has it in a cabinet. And he's coming over to Lynchburg this weekend with us. And 9 a.m. Saturday morning, you know where he's going to be? In front of Dickel. You got
Well,
to go to Dickel.
I've been to a lot of distilleries, and the Dickel Distillery in Tullahoma, as far as like the landscape, not necessarily the operation's awesome too, but just the landscape and where that distillery sits in the hills of Tennessee are just, I mean, I get chills thinking about it. It's so beautiful. I'm a big outdoor guy, and it's an amazing piece of property, more on the long lines of just the landscape and how the creek and everything runs through it. So
Better than
it's
Maker's Mark?
I have not been to Maker's Mark, and I have it on the bucket list to
Anthony.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need
I've
to
not
go.
been.
You
You
need to
need
go.
I've
We'll
when
seen
you
tell
a
you.
lot of people there, but never been there
yeah
myself.
when you set that up for us, I mean that one's just hard to beat. I mean, as far as
Yeah,
the
that's what
beauty
I've
and
heard.
everything, it's amazing. Well, Anthony, thank you so much. I've always
Thank
wanted
you
to do
guys.
this, having you on here. You know, the show is
Appreciate it.
new, and I'm going to tell you, 23, 24 people have watched you and they haven't dropped. And usually when we get a guest on there, that's when they go to the bathroom, or
Well, I really enjoy the business. I enjoy the people in the business. I've gotten to know a lot of cool people from bourbon clubs in Arkansas, and it's really cool to be in the industry where so many people are, I guess, infatuated with it a little bit. And I always say I'm an open book. I love the business. Bourbon is something that I've been consuming for a long time, probably before I should have been. So I've always been near and dear. Bourbon's always been my jam. But if I'm on the beach, I'm drinking beer. But if I'm anywhere else, I'm usually drinking bourbon.
so to answer that question, if you're on the beach and you have nothing else to drink, what beer brand then are you going to be drinking? What's your choice of
What
beer?
what beer brand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, man,
What's your favorite beer?
I'd probably have to go with Modelo. That's my beer
Uh,
beer on the beach. And
ain't
yeah,
nothing
fireworks.
wrong with that, buddy.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with
it's
that.
it's 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 the special beer. Now, I'll get back to the Bud Light, Bush Light, Michelob Ultra if it's one of those days I need to drink a few more than 4 or 5.
Yeah. And another time we'll have to have you back to talk about why this state has a fascination with Bush Light Apple.
I don't know. I have no
It's
clue. I
crazy.
can drink one of them, and that's about it.
My son has a fascination with anything bush, lime, apple, whatever. He's like, Dad, you got to get me a case or two or three, and they sit out in my garage in the refrigerator, and they never get drank. I don't know.
Well, hey, I have one question for you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're always on the prowl for stuff that's not available in Arkansas. Is there some brand that's not here completely other than Crittenden? Because y'all asked about that, but is there some brand that your group
Mm.
specifically would really love to see in the state?
Oh yeah, yeah, without a question. But I don't think it'll happen.
What is it?
Detling.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Um,
that's
I tried to set you up with that one too. Remember with
yeah,
that.
I think I talked to them years and years ago, and I don't know what the disconnect was
I
there, but
just don't think Seth wants to sell bourbon.
yeah. He doesn't want to
well,
sell enough of it to make it
to each
worth.
their own.
Yeah,
I don't know.
well,
There's a
he
method
doesn't.
to behind the madness sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't want to sell enough of it to make it go through it. And I got to tell you something. I'm gonna compliment you. The bourbon you picked out for tonight, that was very, very good. The
I
rare
Yeah,
perfection,
still have them
it's
on
good.
full.
rare perfection, and again, it's exceptional series. It was a weeded.
We picked
If
a single
it's
barrel. We picked a single barrel that's going to be better than this, in my opinion, and that is something that will be here for sure. For the guy who asked about a special bottle, there's a single barrel coming that we picked a couple months ago. Hopefully, be here by the holidays. But
So it's just an
is it
Arkansas pick, kind of
what's
like
that?
it's an Arkansas pick,
Yes.
kind of like how y'all did Melick.
Yep. Yep.
Just
It'll
an
be an
Arkansas.
Arkansas pick for the general public, so it'll be hopefully here by Thanksgiving-ish time period. We'll see. I don't know.
is it a
Cool.
bourbon, a weeded, or what is? Do you know
It's
which one it is?
bourbon. Yeah.
Bourbon. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that'll make it even easier. We know where it'll appear. We know the stores it'll appear in. John.
It's a cool brand. It's I like the brand a lot because it does remind me a lot of Smoke Wagon and kind of how that came about. They're kind of handpicking some lots and barrels and stuff that really is good stuff. I don't know how many of you guys know the story of Rare Character, but Pablo, the guy that was one of the founders, was a restaurateur and was doing a lot of stuff with distilleries already and got to be real good friends with a lot of the master distillers. And supposedly they get lots and stuff that are called to him and he picks them out and they're kind of, I guess, first pick kind of thing. So a lot of stuff that they produce is really good. So I've
Hey
seen so far.
Anthony,
Mhm.
how does he pronounce his last name? I'm just curious.
I don't give me line. I've always just said Pablo.
Yeah, but you know what his last name is, right?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Moix.
Ah,
And now I know how
I know
you
how to
pronounce
pronounce that.
that,
I know how to pronounce that.
and I know how to pronounce it. I was just curious if he pronounced it the way we do, because
That's
around
a good
Conway
question.
area, Moix is Moix.
Yeah, I can find out when we get off the call and let you know.
Yeah, I'm just curious because us Arkansans, we butcher a lot of names anyway,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
for sure.
all right. Well, hey Anthony, thanks. Best
We
show
Thanks for
ever.
appreciate
having
it.
me. Yeah, thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
you.
Enjoyed it, guys.
And
Hope
hey,
Hang
we
around the
still
background if you want to watch on or whatever you want to
we
do. And
still need to get together in person and have a pour. We've been saying we were going to do this for like 3 years now. We never,
let's
between
do it.
hunting season, working season, baseball season,
Baseball, cheer season,
Santa
lake
what
season.
season,
Oh,
season.
Santa
sorry.
season.
I know. It's always something, man.
Yeah.
Hey, we got
Well,
to have a pour tonight, so
yeah,
cheers.
I appreciate it,
Cheers,
guys. Thanks
brother.
for having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Anthony. That's
Let's do it
Anthony
again.
Eckert, everybody.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thanks, Anthony. All right, guys. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. I want to thank again Anthony Eckert, Vice President of Sales at Central and Moon here in state of Arkansas. We're going to bring Roger back on the stage here. What do you think, Roger, about these bourbon clubs, man? These distilleries are putting out.
I think they're interesting, but the problem is, to me, is it's limited by the number of states that they offer availability to. And that's all based on the state liquor laws and where they'll ship to and those type of things, which unfortunately for some of us in Tennessee and Arkansas and a lot of other states, you can't get it. You can't get access to it. And unfortunately, that means that we might not get access to certain bottles like the Bardstown 13, the Disco 13 we talked about earlier in the thing. I'm a little worried that we're not going to get access to that bottle because it's going to all get shipped out through those clubs.
Well, I mean,
Which, and again, the distillery's not wrong. They're going to make their money.
You know, are you going to pay? I think the Bardstown is what, $300 to be in their club.
Yeah, but the problem is it only ships to like 5 or 6 states. It doesn't ship to Arkansas. It doesn't ship to states around. So then you're up to try to find somebody that's your friend that they do ship to, that you can get it shipped to, which isn't really convenient for me.
Well, I just don't find the convenience of it being as expensive as it is to be able to purchase a bottle that's more than what it is if you did find it, in a liquor store.
On retail, yeah.
Like Heaven Hill, for instance, $2,000 a year to be in their club. And then you have to be invited in. I mean, that's, I think it's kind of ridiculous. And I think it's kind of
elitist.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is for those, that live in Kentucky who are somebody.
Yeah.
Be a politician or whatever it may be. Yeah, I'm just not wild about the idea, but I mean, there again, we're kind of trying to do the same thing, but just on a much smaller level. Like when we start doing barrel picks, it's along those same lines, except maybe without all the prestige and the pomp and circumstance that goes along with it.
And we're just like everybody else. We you cried over spilled milk if you don't have it, and that's fine. But all I have to say is I'd like to throw a little shout out to our unofficial sponsor, Old Dominic and Wild Turkey, and be glad to contact us or let us know anytime you want to, have any of your people on here to talk about your products. But there's my ad.
Yeah, I know you're trying your hardest, and maybe one day that'll happen. And if so, I hope we get to share it right here on this stage.
We will.
Now, speaking of clubs and whatnot, it's a lot cheaper if you just join the Bourbon Legends.
Oh, it is much cheaper.
We're not $2,000 or $1,000 a year. I mean, it can be $4 a month, or it can be up to $16. It's just however you want to, support us to make things happen. And one of the things, that we're getting ready at the end of this month is we are going to do the Patreon giveaway. Roger, I don't know why it never wants to pull you up together with me, but we're gonna get it worked out one of these
We'll
years.
get there. We'll get there, brother.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have to dive deep into that, but yeah, we're gonna give away the Heaven Hill grain to glass bottle bourbon. They have 3 expressions: bourbon, rye, and a wheater. And we're giving away the bourbon since this is the Bourbon Legends, although it's a catchy name, but I mean, I'm pretty sure we drink rye whiskey and wheat.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else too. But
and American whiskey.
Yep. That's going to be August 29th. So just wanted to give a shout out for that. And
can I say something on that, Craig?
You sure can.
I'm going to throw a challenge out there. If there's anybody else thinking about being a Patreon, and yeah, we did do a cutoff on this of July 31st being in the Patreon to get this bottle. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to be open if we get a group of more people coming in and join Patreon. We might be open to kind of open this up and maybe have a second or third bottle, but a second bottle at least that gets distributed to the Patreon. And because of
That's a
this,
good
and if you get
challenge.
added to it, and I'm just saying, help us out. It's only to help us out with the expenses that go along with a lot of this and the equipment and those type things. And we do have these giveaways. We have a lot of other opportunities for you to have events. We're going to have more going into the fall as people are getting off the lake, as we've talked about, and not drinking the beer and the tequila and the vodka, and
Right.
starting to go back to when it's a little cooler down here and drinking some bourbon. We're going to have some events around the area, maybe one at Old Dominic, and or Rocktown or some other things around the area. But just throwing that challenge out there. If there's somebody you're on the fence about joining the Patreon, dip your toe in, look at it and let us know.
And here's the thing. It doesn't have to be a lot of money.
No.
As a matter of fact, you can join for free through Patreon. You just won't be eligible to win a bottle. That's the only difference.
Yeah, and it's just to let us know that you support us and like the idea of what we're doing. And we're going to keep going with this. We'll make sure that we stay on this. We've got a long month of August. Even though we missed a whole the last week of July. We didn't even have on our calendar. Not that I'm pointing it out or anything.
And mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. Now, I will tell you something that is not a mistake. And that's going to be what we're going to have as our pour of the week. And it's this little bottle right here. I don't know how many people have actually gotten this bottle, but I'm going to tell you, it is hot. If you can find that bottle at MSRP or just near MSRP, buy as many of them as you can. Because there's a misunderstanding, I think, that's floating around about this bottle, that it's going to be a shelfer, and that is not true. This is not going to be a shelfer. The Heritage Series is what Jack Daniel's brings out every year, but it's always a different expression. So you may never see a Jack Daniel's toasted Heritage bottle ever again. And I think that's why the FOMO is real on this, Roger.
Well, we haven't even tasted it, and we got the
We're
FOMO
gonna
going.
solve that right now, buddy.
Oh, wait. I might have tasted mine.
Well, I have it. So I know the
Is this a
Bourbon
fresh
Legends.
crack?
I like to put stuff out about a fresh crack. I know Daniel has fresh cracked it. Here.
Oh, here we go again, using the teeth to pull the
Yeah,
plastic.
my wife works at a dentist office. If things happen, I can always get them fixed.
There you go.
They don't want this bottle to be opened easily. I can tell you that.
And I'm going to point this out. Part of our little group and with our Discord and all the other things, the availability and it's showing where you can find these bottles and things like that. I'd like to thank Mr. Roy Passman for this bottle right here. He tracked it down
Thanks,
and was
Roy.
able to get it to us at MSRP, and it is very, very nice.
Roger, you
heftier
hit
pour.
on something really good there. Something that we have not really put out. We have in the Bourbon Legends Discord, we have our own network that's a chat messaging system, and this is for paying members only. It's one of the benefits of being a Patreon member. But say, for instance, if Daniel Beasley goes out and he finds a case or two of this Jack Daniels, he puts it on that chat message and he says, hey, does anybody want a Jack Daniels for $80 out the door with tax? That's one of the big advantages of being a Patreon member, because that is almost invaluable and priceless to have that, somebody that will be willing to put their money towards a bottle and then let you pay them back, Tuesday for a hamburger today, if you will. So,
yeah, and again, we're not going out there and trying to go secondary on these things. It's meant to spread the wealth amongst all of our group so that everybody has a chance
that goes
to
totally
try it.
against our rules. We do have rules in the Bourbon Legends, and one of them is you can't flip. So,
Yeah, the whole idea is to have for people to have the experience in it, but all the all the flavors that they say you'll get are there.
I'm
And
telling you, roasted vanilla. I don't even know what roasted vanilla is, but by God, I got it.
I the spice, the vanilla, the oak,
Supposed to
all
be
of those
toasted.
things.
It's supposed to be toasted vanilla, but dumb me, I don't proofread my things, and that's why I have roasted vanilla on there.
That's okay. We'll get roasted, toasted.
God, it's
Hey,
good, and I'm getting okay. So I'm getting something that's not even on here. If you go to Walmart, Walmart brand makes them. It's almonds that are coated in cocoa powder, and it's all over that nose right there. Cocoa powdered almonds to me. Mm,
yeah, I'm loving this bottle, and I dearly hope this makes it to the Arkansas market and we can find it because I
that
think
is
I need a backup bottle of this. Being a Tennessee Squire, I am very proud to say this is a beautiful Jack Daniel's product.
well. I'm going to keep my eyes open this weekend for a bottle. I passed when Daniel offered it the first round. I passed thinking that it was not a big deal, and then all of a sudden, holy shit! I mean, the FOMO got real fast, and
Yeah,
I can
and
see
it's
why because that is a phenomenal pour right there. That is really a good drink.
I'll tell you, I was surprised when I first opened it, and now it just keeps getting better and better. I gotta put it away for a little bit because I only got a bottle of it, but we'll work on it. We'll work on it. We got Squires going out to Lynchburg this weekend. Am I wrong in that?
I'm leaving at 6 a.m. in the morning, so yeah. As soon as I get this show wrapped up, I mean, we ran a little bit long with Anthony, but man, he just had so much wisdom of being in the bourbon business or the liquor business for that matter that
Yeah.
you can't cut off something like that when they're talking. You got to let them talk.
No, you gotta let it go. You gotta keep going with it.
We
But
can get rid. We can make up time by not doing a giveaway this week.
nay, I say nay. We have to do the giveaway. For all those folks out there that want a giveaway, let me know.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, twist twist my arm. I guess we could do something, and we're getting there. We're getting there.
Do
Anything
we
else
have
you want
any?
to say about this JD toasted heritage
Well, I
that you
can tell
haven't
you
already
this.
said? That's good. It's a
Like
great pour.
going on what Anthony had said, you got distilleries are going to come up with ideas and plans to expand lines and find new products. I think this is a win for Jack Daniels. Hopefully, it's a little more available than most of the other things, and it seems like the retail's been good. But the other one that I want to share with you as just a little hint, it goes to the summer homage, is Jack Daniels Blackberry. I got to tell you
Blackberry
something.
blackberry season, huh?
It is blackberry season. As you get into the late summer, early fall, you're sitting there and you're relaxing and watching some football games and want to sit back and relax and having a little lemonade or tea with blackberry in it. I haven't tried it with tea yet. I tried it with lemonade, but I'm going to try it with tea, sweet tea, because there's only one type of tea, sweet tea.
So
And
so you've had it, Roger.
yeah,
Your thoughts?
my thoughts are they hit it out of the park. They
Really?
beat They beat Crown Royal because Crown Royal, unfortunately, had a medicinal taste to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with
there we
that.
go. Had a medicinal taste, and we'll give double thumbs down. It rained all over the parade, but this just adds that hint of blackberry to it, which enhances the drink. It's 70% alcohol, which really helps out. But I think Jack Daniels is on the right page here. Maybe, hopefully, there's more of this heritage out there that is goes on, and we can keep it going. But it's it's a beautiful thing.
Hmm. Well, maybe this weekend I can taste a little bit of that blackberry and make my own decision whether I want to grab a bottle or not. I'm not big on flavored whiskeys like that, but
Well, I know they make it into 50 milliliters. And so when you drive through Memphis and beautiful state of Tennessee, and even the Jack Daniel's distillery, I guarantee you're gonna might be able to pick it up.
I bet so.
It's only $24. I mean, come on.
And what is it, like 70%? Is that what it is? 70 proof?
70% alcohol, much like their
70 proof.
fire, much
70
like their
proof.
70 proof, 70 proof. So much like their fire and their honey and the apple, which honestly they do a really good job with the honey. That's one of my favorite Jack Daniels to make in a mixed drink. I'm looking forward to doing this in the blackberry old fashioned.
Oh,
I
that'd be
can
good.
guarantee you that.
Hey, you know who started that honey business, right?
Oh yeah.
Our old buddy. Our old buddy. We need to try to get our old buddy on the show. I think that'd be a damn hoot.
Well, there's a lot of people we need to get on here, and what we need from our folks that are listening still is if you have suggestions for people you want to see on here or have us interview or talk to, let us know. We'll give it a try. We'll throw it out there.
I tell you, Anthony said to me, he said, "Is there anything that I can do to help you?" He's real good friends with Aaron Chepnick, I believe is how you pronounce his name, the owner of Smoke Wagon. If we had Aaron on here one night, oh my God,
Oh,
that guy has got some stories. Oh,
and
he's
he's a hoot.
great.
He's a
He
hoot.
is. He may be a little bit eccentric, but yeah, he is a hoot. All right, let's move on, Roger. We're running over time here. I want to do a couple of more things. One of them is I want to give away a bottle of Peerless, and we're going to give away a bottle once we get to our 300th subscriber. Okay, so what I want you to do, I'm going to pull Roger in here too.
A single
Roger,
barrel?
do you happen to know how we stand on subscribers at the moment?
Let me check with you, and I'll check in a very quick second here.
I know we were probably around 75-ish away from 300.
218 subscribers as we speak right
218.
now.
So we're pretty close. I want to give away this bottle. This bottle is not the one that's shown, but last year when I went to Bardstown, we were in Louisville, and I went and had this bottle, a taste of it right out of the barrel, and somehow I ended up with 3 bottles of it. It's a really good store pick. It was a store pick from a store up in Indiana, and I'm going to give that bottle away to the 3,000th, not to the 3,000th subscriber, but once
300.
300. I wish it was 3,000, but
Oh yeah, I do too.
when we hit 300, I'm going to just put every subscriber's name in a hat. We're going to pull it out, and whoever wins it's going to win it. If they claim it. Now, if they don't claim it, then we'll move to the next drawing. But we're going to give this away to one of our subscribers. All right. So you know what that means. If you are not a subscriber, now is the time to become a subscriber. You're not going to have to wait a month. You're just going to have to wait till we get to that 300th person. And then we will give that away.
Like and subscribe, please.
Like and subscribe. That's right. All right. Moving right along, we are going to talk about next week's show. No.
Hold on.
Hold on. I want to do something else.
What's our giveaway?
First? Yeah, we're going to give something away. Let's do this. I'm going to go to the solo view so everybody can see. This week, we're not giving away any whiskey, folks, but we're going to give away a flight board, a solid oak flight board.
Turn it over. It's upside down.
Sorry. The Bourbon Legends flight board. You can hold 4 of your favorite pours. Okay? All you have to do right now is go hit hashtag flight, FLIGHT, and we're going to get you tallied up to try to win that. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, that will not ship tomorrow because I'm not going to have time to ship it, pack it up, or anything else. But it'll go out the first of next week. Flight, hashtag flight.
Can
Yes,
I
Roger.
enter? Can I enter?
Uh,
Can I enter? Oh,
you know,
sorry,
if,
no.
if you win, then they're going to say it's rigged. So I guess you
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, we get the
Sorry
rig
about
group out there. Yeah, I might
that.
have to come up to the Santa's workshop, have some of the elves help me out, and we might be able to
Yeah,
make one.
that might happen. And when you come up, bring some of that Jack Blackberry, and we'll
We,
talk
yeah,
about it.
I don't know about you, but elves really like the sweet stuff. And if you get them a little sweet stuff, and including Bandit, I think Bandit likes the sweet stuff too.
Bandit over here likes anything, except I don't think he likes me being on. I think he's ready to get in the bed and lay there and
You're interrupting that bedtime time. Yeah.
yeah, it's a little past his bedtime. But let's talk about next week, okay? Next week is going to be a good show again. We're going to have I don't know if any of you guys follow him or not, but his name is Robert Dow Jr., not Robert Downey Jr., Robert Dow Jr., otherwise known as Cutlass High Proof. And he's going to join us as our special guest next week. We're going to be drinking some Hey Luke. That's the port he chose to be drinking. And I know, Roger, here again, that's one of your favorites too. You got a lot of favorites. So
Well, and you like fireworks, so I always do them for you.
I like fireworks. And hey, down the pipe, we've got guests lined up for the rest of the month. I don't want to divulge all of them yet, but we've got one that's coming up that's going to be really, really. If you thought Anthony was good about giving out information, wait till you hear the point from a liquor store owner. We've got a liquor store owner that's going to join us, and he's going to probably be able to tell you a lot more than what Anthony could tell you. And then we're going to have a distillery owner and master distiller. I guess he's kind of he wears a lot of hats, Roger, a lot of hats.
I believe he does. And, honestly, I think it's going back to some of the last question that Anthony asked us. We're going to be able to answer that better when we divulge our special guests that we're going to have on, because we're going to be able to tell Anthony, yeah, this guy.
Yeah, and he's a neighbor.
He's a neighbor. I think we'll be able to get him. Maybe we'll get Anthony to just kind of listen in on that discussion we have that night.
I can just pick up the phone and shoot Anthony a message right now with phone numbers, emails, and everything else.
That would be a good thing.
Something I didn't want to say while Anthony was on here, but me and Anthony, we are buddies and we talk a lot. And man, I've really pushed Detling and Crittenens to him. And I know he's reached out, and he didn't really want to say much, but when he was talking about Matt Crittenden, it just apparently just didn't work out for whatever reason. But I'm sitting here, boys. I'm trying to plug some of these favorite distilleries that we have, trying to get them for local people. So we'll keep plugging along, and then also, Roger, not this coming weekend or this next Thursday. That's Robert Dow Jr. Cutlass. But the following Thursday, we are going to have perhaps one of the hottest social media people on as our guest. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to give it away, but it's going to be huge. So I'm really happy with the way our guests are lining up, and we're still young in this, but I'm telling you what, we've got how did Casey Kasem used to say, keep your feet on the floor and your head in the clouds?
That's it.
That's what we're doing here. And honestly, folks, it's the same old cliche. If you like what we're doing here, like and subscribe. But seriously, if we had 3,000 subscribers instead of almost 300, man, the oyster, or what, how they say it, the oyster's our pearl, or our pearls.
Plural is inside our oyster. Yeah.
I think we could get, some big names. I think a lot of these people just don't want to come on a show that's got, oh, well, you only have 200 subscribers. They're a little bigger than that. But I think we're going to get to that point where, by God, we might get Mr. Jimmy on here.
Yeah. Well, I feel that there's other YouTube people that we haven't had on yet that we've been talking with that are looking at in September.
Yeah.
We've got some people down the road. We're going to stick with us, boys and girls. And, I'd like to throw it out right now because he's made a few comments on there. Scott from Artfully Bourbon. They were a new show about a year ago, and I went and visited their studios in the last week or so. If you haven't looked at their channel, it's called Artfully Bourbon. Give them a like and subscribe. They're going to be on our show at some point. We're going to talk with them. We're working on a lot of different ones that we're working on, a lot of local shows, as well as some of them in Missouri and surrounding states. But we're not going to be regional. We're going to go expand and do national stuff too. So we're going to try to find some other people too.
Well, we are definitely going to put out a lot of feelers. I'm kind of like Anthony. I don't want to say too much, but
No.
I'm working on one in Kentucky, and they seem very interested. But if we can make that happen, it'll be good. Hey, Mr. Brock, I know you're out there listening. Anytime you want to shoot me a list of names, we'll spin that old wheel and see who's going to win.
Yeah, we're ending the hashtag flight right now.
This is the longest we've ever went live, and I appreciate everybody staying with us. I mean, we're still at 23 people right now, which is pretty dadgum good for us being long-winded here. I should have already been packing my underwear and everything because I gotta head out.
Remember,
Right.
anybody that's a bourbon legend, we're gonna jump on. I'll jump on Discord. Santa might not be unless he's in his underwear and stuff, but I'll jump on Discord. But look forward to everybody, and we'll be here next week. We'll have a very good show next week again. We'll share some pours. I don't know what. Have we figured out what? Oh, K Luke. K
Well,
Luke is next week.
we're gonna have K Luke with Cutlass, but we haven't figured out what me and you are going to review.
Okay, well, we got a week before that comes up.
Oh yeah, you know how it is. I usually don't prep the show until about 20 minutes before we start. So, All right,
Well,
Mr. Brock has got us set up.
Oh,
It's amazing that we have 23, 24 people watching this show, and we just don't get that many people that want to win stuff. I've never understood that, but maybe
they don't want to throw it out there.
maybe they're into decluttering. They don't need anything else to.
Well, if I entered it, they'd say it was rigged. So I don't want to do that. You don't enter it.
We don't want to do that. We don't want it to be rigged. All right, let me see here, folks. I've got to go to share a screen. You get to kind of hear the backstories of everything here. All right. Is my screen sharing? Here we go. We're going to share that screen. This is for the flight. Are you ready, Roger? Let's roll this thing.
Roll it.
Let's roll it. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. And the winner for this Thursday is going to be... Looks like it's going to be Independent Joe. All right, Independent Joe, if you're still watching, here's what you need to do. Go to our website, thebourbonlegends.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page, and that's where you can drop a line. Drop me a line, I will get back with you. It may be Monday, like I said, because I'm going to be busy. But drop me a line, Independent Joe, and I will get this set up and sent out to you ASAP next week. Okay, buddy? All right. Congratulations, Roger.
Appreciate Independent Joe listening and watching the show tonight.
I hope Independent Joe is now a subscriber, so he can maybe be in on that 300th bottle
the
giveaway.
Peerless giveaway. Yeah.
Roger, any last words of wisdom that you want to give out? I know you're going to be full of something, but I don't know if it's wisdom. But
Well, not wisdom necessarily, but all I say is don't collect it, drink it. Just drink it, boys and girls. That's what bourbon is meant for. It's meant to collect, to drink and enjoy with your friends.
That's right. And you're supposed to share with your friends, right?
Oh, definitely share it with your friends.
Share it with your friends. We're going to be sharing a lot over in Lynchburg this weekend. Didn't really hit on it. There's going to be about 20 of us over there. A lot of us are squires. We're going to have a bottle share Saturday night. We're going to have hot dogs, hamburger cookout, and a lot of good pours. I can just already tell.
From what I understand, you guys are taking over Lynchburg. The mayor of Lynchburg is apparently going to present you guys with a special plaque and trophy. But
that would be
that's
cool.
just rumor. That's just rumor.
That would be really cool. Maybe I'll get the key to the city. And if they do, maybe it'll get us out of jail. You know, that key will probably open
the key will open the jail cell. Yeah. Well,
we were
honestly,
sitting here, we were sitting here talking about, I live in a dry county. It's very weird to think about actually a distillery that's in a dry county where you can make all the whiskey you want, but you can't legally buy it at a liquor store there. I know you can buy it. I know there's rules where you can buy it, at the distillery, and there's a couple other places, but that's just crazy.
It is. But hey, you guys enjoy yourselves. You're going to a place to eat food. It's called Mary Bobo's, which can't be bad. And I got the history and story behind Mary Bobo's, and that's it. It is worth going to. You guys are going to have a blast.
Well, Saturday they're going to have fried chicken and meatloaf, and I mean, if you don't like either one of those, then you don't even need to be going.
No, you need to go home because fried chicken. Because I guarantee you, if they're serving fried chicken, they got mashed potatoes to go with it.
Oh yeah, no, stewed potatoes actually.
Stewed potatoes. Oh my god,
potatoes,
with gravy.
Yeah, Austin put the menu out on our Discord. It's going to be good. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be legendary.
Legendary.
All right, folks. Thanks everybody for joining in with us tonight. I want to thank Anthony again. I think it was probably the best show so far. Like, subscribe, go to our webpage, thebourbonlegends.com. We've got merchandise there that you can buy. Join up on the Patreon. Get in on all of this good stuff. And until next Wednesday, we'll be on with Live from the Patio Fellers. But otherwise, we'll see you next Thursday. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody.
And thanks to the Patreons again. Watch the end of this show. They help us out tremendously. So long, everybody.